For all who walks upon the road that leads to the blessed lands, be warned. Once you enter this domain, you may not return to this world again. The holy invisible world for which you seek is simply a step away from where you are standing right now. To open the door to the future, you must forget all you know of the past. The master key of all mystery teachings and systems of initiation of the past, present and future lie just a step ahead. The magic key for which you seek is the open sesame that unlocks the door to a new and marvelous world. The path that leads to this hidden world is through initiation of consciousness and understanding of one's self. What lies ahead is truth. Welcome to the Holy City of Agartha.
Welcome to the WTF Files. The ultimate aim of all science, to penetrate the unknown. The greatest mystery is right here, right under our feet. These are the stories that will make you say, WTF.
The word Agartha is of Buddhist origin. It refers to the subterranean world or empire, in whose existence all true Buddhists fervently believe. They also believe that this subterranean world has millions of inhabitants, and many cities, all under the supreme domination of the subterranean world capital, Shangri-La, where dwells the supreme ruler of this empire, known in the Orient as the King of the World. It is believed that he gave his orders to the Dalai Lama of Tibet, who was his terrestrial representative. The message is being transmitted through certain secret tunnels, which connect the subterranean world with Tibet, as it has been done for thousands of years. Many similarly mysterious tunnels and stories lurk under the soil of Brazil as well. Brazil in the west, and Tibet in the east, seem to be the two parts of the earth, where contact between the subterranean world and the surface world may be most easily achieved. Due to the existence of these vast tunnel systems, the famous Russian artist, philosopher and explorer, Nicholas Roerich, who traveled extensively in the Far East, claimed that Lhasa, capital of Tibet, was connected by a tunnel with Shangri-La, capital of the subterranean empire of Agartha. The entrance of these tunnels were guarded by lamas who were sworn to keep the actual whereabouts a secret from outsiders, by order of the Dalai Lama. A similar tunnel was believed to connect the secret chambers at the base of the Pyramid of Giza, by which the pharaohs established contact with these subterranean gods as well. The various gigantic statues of early Egyptian gods and kings that the Buddhist found throughout the Orient during their early explorations are believed by the Buddhist to represent the subterranean supermen, who came to the surface to help the human race in ancient times. They are generally represented as sexless. They were believed to be the messengers of Agartha. Buddhist traditions state that Agartha was first colonized many thousands of years ago, when a holy man led a group of followers who disappeared under the earth, never to be seen again. The subterranean civilization of Agartha is believed by many scholars to represent the continuum of the lost Atlantean civilization, who after learning the hard lesson of the futility of war, have remained in a state of peace ever since, making breathtaking scientific progress, far more advanced than we on the surface have ever known to be possible, uninterrupted by the setbacks of recurrent wars, and fighting amongst each other, as our surface civilization continues to pursue. Their subterranean scientists are able to wield forces of nature we know nothing about, as demonstrated by their flying saucers, which are operated by a new, unknown source of energy, more subtle than atomic energy. Osendowski claims that the Empire of Agartha consists of a network of subterranean cities, connected with each other by tunnels, through which vehicles pass at tremendous speed, both under the land and under the sea. These advanced beings live under the benign reign of a government headed by who they call the King of the World. They represent the descendants of the lost continents of Lemuria and Atlantis. as well as the original perfect race of Hyperboreans, or Nephilim, which are now believed to have once lived as gods, here on the surface of Earth, and ruled over all of humanity in the ancient times. It is believed by many cultures around the world, that during various epochs in history, the Agarthian supermen, or gods, came to the surface to teach the human race, and help prevent many wars, catastrophes, and even help direct and dictate religious persuasion, since the very beginning of human creation. The coming of the flying saucers, soon after the first atomic explosion in Hiroshima, represents another such visitation, but this time the gods themselves did not appear among men, but they sent their emissaries. The Indian epic, Ramayana, describes Rama as one such being, an emissary or visitor, a visitor from the lands of Agartha, coming in an aerial flying vehicle, which is now favorably believed to be a flying saucer. Similarly, a Chinese tradition speaks of divine teachers coming on aerial vehicles also. The creator god of the Inca people, Mancocopac, is said to have visited the earth in the same way. When he created the Inca people, he arrived inside a flying craft, which came from beneath the surface of the earth. One of the greatest of Agarthian teachers in America was Quetzalcoatl, the great prophet of the Mayans, the Aztecs, and of the Indians of the Americas as well, both South and North America. He was a stranger among them all. He was known as an Atlantean. All indications seem to verify this claim, as indicated by his being of a fair complexion, while they were of dark; his being tall, while they were short. He was reverenced as a savior by the Indians of Mexico, the Yucatan, and Guatemala. This was long before the coming of the white man. The Aztecs called him God of Abundance, and the Morning Star. His name Quetzalcoatl means the feathered serpent, also known as a teacher of wisdom, symbolized by the serpent, who can fly. He was given this name because he came on an aerial vehicle, which is now recognized to have been a flying saucer. The Indian nations believe he originally came from the subterranean world. He taught the Indians the way of virtue, and tried to save them from life's vice, by giving them laws and counsel, to restrain them from lust, and to practice chastity. He taught pacifism and condemned violence in all forms. He instituted a vegetarian diet, with corn as a principal food, and taught fasting and hygiene to the people. According to the South American archaeologist, Harold Wilkins, Quetzalcoatl was also the spiritual teacher of the ancient inhabitants of Brazil. The Egyptian demigod Osiris was another such subterranean god. According to Ignatius L. Donnelly, in his book, Atlantis the Antediluvian World, he claims, the gods of the ancients, were the original rulers of Atlantis, and members of a superhuman race, which governed over humans. Before the destruction of their own continent, which they foresaw coming, years before it happened, they traveled by flying saucer, through the polar opening, to the subterranean world in the hollow interior of the earth, where they have continued to live ever since. Author, Ferdinando Sendowski, wrote in his book, Beasts, Men, and Gods. In his book he speaks of a vast network of tunnels, constructed by a prehistoric race of humans, which passed under both oceans and continents, through which swift-moving vehicles traveled. The empire of which Sendowski speaks, he learned about from the lamas in the Far East, during his travels in Mongolia. The story obviously consists of subterranean cities inside the Earth's crust, which should be differentiated from those existing in its hollow center. Thus there are two subterranean worlds, one more superficial, and one in the center of the Earth. In his book, The Coming Race, author, Bulwer Lytton, describes a subterranean civilization far more advanced than our own, which existed in a large cavity in the earth, connected with the surface by a tunnel. This immense cavity was illuminated by a strange light, which did not require lamps to produce it, but appeared to result from an electrification of the atmosphere. This light supported plant life, and enabled the subterranean people to grow their foods. The inhabitants of the utopia, described by Lytton, were vegetarians. They had certain apparatuses, by which they could fly. They were free from disease, and had a perfect social organization, so that each received what he needed, without exploitation of one by another. Lytton claims that the Earth's crust is honeycombed by a network of tunnels, passing under the ocean, from continent to continent, and leading to subterranean cities in large cavities in the Earth. These tunnels are especially abundant in South America, especially under Brazil. Most famous of these tunnels is the roadway of the Incas, which stretches for several hundred miles south of Lima, Peru, and passes under Cusco, Tiahuanaco, and under the Three Peaks, proceeding to the Atacambo Desert. Another branch opens in Arica, Chile. It is claimed that the Incas used these same tunnels, to escape from the Spanish conquerors and the Inquisition. It is said, entire armies entered them, carrying with them their gold and treasures on the backs of llamas, which they did when the Spanish conquerors first came. Their mysterious disappearance at this time, leaving only the race of Quechua Indians behind, is also explained by their entering these tunnels. It is said, that when Atahualpa, the last of the Inca kings, was brutally murdered by Pizarro, the gold that was being carried to his ransom on a train, of 11,000 pack llamas, found refuge in these tunnels. Since the Incas who entered these tunnels, were never seen again, it leads one to speculate, maybe they found the inner cities as well. These mysterious tunnels, are an enigma to archaeologists today. They exist in greatest numbers under Brazil, where they open on the surface in various places. The most famous is in the Roncador Mountains of northeast Mato Grosso, where explorer, Colonel Fawcett, was heading when last seen. It is claimed that the Atlantean city for which he searched was not the ruins of a dead city on the surface, but a subterranean city with still living Atlanteans as its inhabitants. It is believed, that he and his son Jack reached this city, and are still living there today. The Roncador tunnel opening is guarded by the Mursego Indians, who are a dark-skinned, undersized race with great physical strength. Their sense of smell is more developed than that of the best bloodhounds. Even if they approve of you and let you enter the caverns, you will be lost to the present world, because they guard the secret very carefully, and may not let those who enter ever leave. This may have been what happened to Colonel Fawcett and his son Jack. The ruins of a number of Atlantean cities were found in northern Mato Grosso, and the Amazon territory, indicating that Atlanteans once colonized this country. Some years ago an English school teacher, hearing rumors of a lost Atlantean city, on a high plateau in this region, went to find it. And he did. But the hardships of the journey cost his life. Before he died, he sent by carrier pigeon a note describing a magnificent city he discovered, whose streets were lined by high golden statues. The English school teacher was also never heard from again. Stories of an ancient mystical city have been circulating since the dawn of time, from every corner of the world. In ancient Greece, in the mysteries of Delphos and Eleusis, this heavenly land was referred to as Mount Olympus and the Elysian Fields. Also in the earliest Vedic times, it was called by various names, such as Ratnasanu, Peak of the Precious Stone, Hermadri, the Mountain of Gold, and Mount Meru, home of the gods, and Olympus of the Hindus. Symbolically, the peak of this sacred mountain is in the sky, its middle portion on the earth, and its base in the subterranean world. The Scandinavian Eddas also mention this celestial city, which was in the subterranean land of Asar, of the peoples of Mesopotamia. It was the land of Amenti, in the sacred Book of the Dead, to the ancient Egyptians. To the peoples of India, it was the city of seven petals, and home of Vishnu, and the city of the seven kings of Eden, of Judaic tradition. In all Asia Minor, not only in the past but also today, there exists the belief in the existence of a city of mystery, full of marvels, which is known as Shambhala, where lies the temple of gods. It is also the Ur-Damph of the Tibetans and Mongols. The Persians call it Ayana, land of their ancestors. The Hebrews called it Canaan, the holy place, while the Aztecs called it Mayapan. The Spanish conquerors who came to America believed in the existence of such a city, and organized many expeditions to find it, calling it El Dorado, or the City of Gold. They probably learned about it from the Aborigines, who called it by the name of Manoa, or city whose king wears clothing of gold. By the Celts, this holy land was known as the Land of the Mysteries. In China, a Chinese tradition speaks of the Land of Chivin, or the City of a Dozen Serpents. They believe it is the subterranean world, which lies at the roots of heaven. In the Middle Ages, it was referred to as the Isle of Avalon, where the Knights of the Round Table, under the leadership of King Arthur, and under the guidance of the magician Merlin, they went in search of the Holy Grail, the holy symbol of obedience, justice and immortality. When King Arthur was seriously wounded in a battle, he requested his companion Belvedere to depart on a boat to the confines of the earth, with the following words: "Farewell, my friend and companion Belvedere, return to the land where it never rains, where there is no sickness, and where nobody dies. The land of Agartha, in the subterranean world. Return to the realms of heaven, my dear friend." Today, many believe the Antarctic to be the true final resting place of the lost city of Atlantis. Recently, the discovery of a lost civilization of giant people found in the Antarctic, with elongated skulls, has stunned scientists. The lost civilization were apparently flash-frozen thousands of years ago. Researchers claim these people may have been caught in a catastrophic pole shift, or seismic event that rearranged the tectonic plates rapidly, causing not only a deluge of biblical proportions, but possibly altering the original location of Atlantis altogether. Many cultures believe the ancient city of the Atlanteans will someday be accessible again, for all of mankind. But it is said to only happen when Christianity lives up to the commandments, which were once drafted by Moses and God. Meaning, when the anarchy which exists in our world is replaced by peace and love amongst all beings. Only then will the doors be revealed to humans again. With the rapidly changing climate and the melting ice in the Arctic revealing an ancient past, one has to wonder if the door may be revealed before they choose to open it. Let us know what you think. Is the ancient city of Atlantis truly hidden right under our feet? Are all these ancient beliefs wrong? Or did they know something that we have now been made to forget? Could this be the veil spoken of in the Bible that covers our eyes today? One has to wonder why so many ancient cultures would have believed in a fairy tale. There must be some truth to why they all believed the same thing. What do you think? We always want to know what you have to say. Make sure to like this video, and subscribe today, for even more stories that will make you say WTF. God bless you all.
These are the WTF files. Subscribe today, and be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Thank you for watching the WTF files.